Snacks. I've been a snacks enjoyer for the better part of most of my life. My parents got me hooked on goldfish at a very young age, and since then I've enjoyed things like cheap chocolate, saltines, snack bars, and trail mix or gorp. Gorp, or otherwise known as good old fashioned raisins and peanuts, is what I was trying to do by buying things cheaper, but it turned out not to be as great. So I thought that buying raw peanuts and raisins, because they're greatly cheaper than buying trail mix, was a very smart move for one of my hikes. And as it turns out, natural raw peanuts do not taste as good as roasted salted peanuts. They're very, very different. This one tastes a little bit like dirt, and roasted peanuts taste like roasted peanuts. So what I'm planning to do here is to cut my losses, and I want to finally make my gorp after the hike that I had to eat these on. And to do that, we are going to be soaking them in salt brine overnight and then roasting them. And hopefully I get something at least a little bit like the store-bought trail mix.
Okay, here's the setup. So I'm gonna get some peanuts. I'm gonna soak them in this with a bunch of salt, and hopefully this all goes well. So that's about 3 cups of our peanuts. And then I'm gonna do about 2 teaspoons of salt. I like things a little bit saltier usually, so I might just add a bit extra, because that doesn't look like quite enough for me. We'll call that good. And then just kind of soak it in a bunch of water. So there's 1 cup. And there's the other cup. All the peanuts are floating, but I might put a little bit extra just so that they're all underneath the water surface. There we go. So now all the peanuts are completely submerged, and I'm just gonna let this soak overnight. So I left this bad boy to sit overnight. That means that most of the water should have absorbed into it, and I just have to drain any sort of excess. I might give it a little bit of a rinse just to get off any sort of like dirt or any other random stuff that's on the peanuts, but as you can see, the water levels are a lot less, and hopefully it's absorbed some of that salty goodness. And it'll go into the oven, roasting at about 250 Celsius. And that's the next step after this, so I'm preheating that as we speak. So I dumped the excess brine from these guys, and I give them a bit of a rinse just to get all the dirt out of it. My next job is I'm going to spread it across a pan in one even layer, hopefully. I don't currently have a pan, which is a little bit annoying. This is the best we have currently, but as you can see, some of the peanuts might fall off the edges there. So next best thing, I might have to do it on here. If you have a sheet pan, use the sheet pan. This is not a good solution, but I am in too deep and I want my roasted peanuts, so this is gonna have to do. I put them into 2 of these little containers. This is proper Pyrex, so it shouldn't shatter. And it's gonna go into my oven once it has preheated. So now we wait.
That's it going in for an hour and a half or about 2 hours. My oven only goes up to 250 Celsius, but you could put it up to about 300 for the last 30 minutes, and that would get it a little bit more crispy and burn off a little bit more steam. But we'll see how she's looking after about hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, I smelled something kind of bad earlier, and as you can see, these are not the ideal raw peanuts I was looking for. In fact, they're quite the opposite. There's a little patch of them here that looks okay, but the lesson here is all the ovens in New Zealand are in Celsius. So I was supposed to be cooking it at 250 Fahrenheit, and I was actually cooking at 480 Fahrenheit, give or take. So I messed them up, but it's a learning experience. Oh well. But here's my final product. We'll do a little, zoom. Ooh. Well, maybe I'll try these again at some future date. At the moment, these are a little bit ruined. Some of them are kind of okay, actually. But make sure to like and subscribe. Don't make the same mistake that I did. And if you want to see me try this again and not fail, let me know in the comments. Cheers.